Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Oh, God. Good morning. Nope. I, I don't know why. It's okay. Okay, so let's get this thing going. I want to drink coffee, but I probably shouldn't, so I'm just gonna drink. Sponsored by Arizona, the cheapest you can get at a gas station. Also, it's really good. Like cautiously very good. Like, why am I only paying 99 cents to drink this? You know what I mean? Like, what's really going on there? Just gonna ignore it, it's fine. I'm just gonna pop in here and like give a little background info on what the point of this is, because I would have a hard time if I was you. So this entire video is just like what my life has been for the past year, things that have happened, and how I got to where I am today. Anyways, I hope that explains it. This was one for the books, you know? I've decided what's gonna work best for me is if I just go to the beginning and start reading it off in an informational, quick way that is easy for us all to understand. So here we go. Bullet point 1. March of 2020, that's where we're gonna start, baby. That's it, I know that's heavy, I know. Let's all just, that's where we're at right now. March 2020, COVID hit, stores closed, everyone's job shifted to working from home, mine included. A month later, April 2020, that was my 21st birthday. I ordered wine from an app. That's how I got to celebrate my 21st birthday by myself in quarantine alone, drinking wine that I ordered from an app. They didn't check for ID, so they just dropped it off and they were just like, you're good. And I'm like, how good am I? What if I'm lying? Yeah, they didn't care. Okay, so April, my first apartment that I've ever gotten. I lived with 2 roommates, my best friends, Nick and Brasher. That's also when my lease ended. The next month, I moved in with my boyfriend. We signed a lease together for 13 months, and we moved in together. That's all I have to say about that. So throughout the course of the next 7 months, I worked and supported 3 different roles. So I worked 3 different roles in different places at different times. Oh yeah. Whoa. Okay, nobody should let me sing. Do I wear the sunglasses? I do not wear the sunglasses. They're so big too, like they just make me feel like I got bug eyes. It's fine, I kind of look smart though. Wait a minute, are you cheating? Why did I sound like Squidward? Okay, minty fresh. So I'm living with my significant other in this brand new apartment, beautiful apartment, second one I've ever had, right? We both worked from home. It was COVID. We never got a break from each other. Drove each other insane. He ended up moving out randomly one day. End of 2020, right? I'm like, what a year. Not how I thought it was gonna go, not how you thought it was gonna go, not how we thought it was gonna go. But it did, and it happened, and we moved past that. January 2021, right? After working at a retail store for a year and a half, I was offered a position with corporate to work from home. So I said, boop, boop. The next month, I was at a Target in Nashville, and this is my trigger warning. If you have experience with PTSD or things like that, you might wanna just 30 seconds. Starting now. There was a shooting that happened at the time when I was in there with my significant other, who I was not with. We were separated in the store in different areas, and I dipped, sprinted out, fell at the front doors, broke down, could not find out where they were. They ended up being the last one in the store. Immediately, I'm like, worst case scenario. Also, I'm the only one who has a person still left in there. Thinking that, what if he was the one who got shot? Thankfully, he ended up getting in contact with me. I ended up being able to get out of the store. We met up in the parking lot, and that was an extremely difficult thing to deal with because I've never been well-versed in PTSD or what that looks like, what that feels like for anyone. I will say, like, it is just one of the most difficult things you could ever imagine working through. So my heart goes out to everyone that was at the store at the time. I couldn't shop by myself for months. I couldn't go in grocery stores. That happened in February, right? February, March, April, I'm working this new job. April comes, and I turned 22. It's now my second quarantine birth. Why? I still hadn't even gotten to celebrate my 21st birthday in like a fun way that 21-year-olds are supposed to. I was just like, This was close to the end of when our lease was up, having severe relationship issues. We'll not go into detail because I don't publicly slander people or my ex. Okay, I accidentally ended it, and that's just God saying we don't need to do that. He left 6 weeks before the lease was up. I woke up pretty much every day, bawled my eyes out, and would spend every day cleaning and try not to leave, a huge bill of damages. Got through the 6 weeks, thank God. That was the hardest thing I've ever done alone. I had the most amazing friends calling, checking in on me, doing what really good friends should do in those situations, and I could not ever thank them enough for that because they truly got me out of it. So at this point, my lease ends, right? I move my stuff into a storage unit, immediately go get a hotel room for a few days because I don't know where I'm gonna live next. I was too sad and depressed and not prioritizing logistics in life because I was so heartbroken and alone and scared. Okay, so I then spend the next 6 weeks motel hopping around Nashville. I was homeless for 6 weeks then. And at the time I was like, oh, I'm transitioning housing. Oh, I'm just looking for a place to live. I was homeless. That's what you call it when you don't have a place to call home and you're living in motels and, couch surfing on friends' couches. I stayed with probably like 6 different friends in different houses for different periods of time, completely all different environments. I feel like I just got this really eye-opening perspective of how different all of our lives are. By going to these houses, like seeing how people feel and interact with and how they are processing everything that's going on around us. And so 6 weeks of homelessness, I had to sell most of my things that were of value, like on Facebook Marketplace, on OfferUp, things like that, in order to afford to survive and live and pay for these rooms and food and things that I need, It was literally the most difficult thing I've ever been through. I just went through 6 weeks of sadness to then go 6 weeks of homelessness, not knowing where, most of my meals would come from, like banking on someone wanting something that's in my storage unit or that I have on me to get money. After those experiences, I was tapped out, could not afford another motel, could not really sell anything else that I had. I reached out to an organization that supports LGBTQ youth. They supplied housing for me at one of the extended stay Americas for the weekend until my cousin, Nikki, got down to Nashville. She was moving down from Chicago, Illinois to Nashville for her job. The last day that I could have afforded this or afforded to mentally or physically exhaust myself to continue living like that, June 23rd. That's the day Nikki came to save me. Nikki is my cousin. Some people say that we're brother and sister. Some people say we're aunt and nephew. It's really just whatever you want to believe, at this point. I'm gonna backtrack here for a second. During these 6 weeks of being homeless, I get hit by a car. Literally got hit by a car when I was walking across the street. What a way to wrap up these motels and these experiences, truly. Now my left and right legs are not so hippity hoppity as they were. It sucked. Because I'm like, wow, anywhere I go, it'd have to hurt to get there. I don't have a choice. Anyways, next, Nikki saves me. She moves into her new apartment in Nashville. I move in with her and her 2 dogs, MJ and Portia. I adore them more than anything in the world. It's a 250 square foot apartment. So Nikki and I managed to make it work to where 2 people can live inside of a 250 square foot apartment for weeks, for 2-ish months. Truly, we got so close. I've never been that close with a family member ever before. She's my ride or die. I truly adore the person she is. She's done so much for me. So I love you, Nikki. She had not seen me since I was a kid. I had not seen her since I was in kindergarten. So this was a reunion, Unfortunately for me, I'm a exhausted, physically depressed little 22-year-old Joe that is just not about the world right now. I was not about the world. I hated everyone and everything. I never wanted to talk to a person again. After going through a breakup like that, and then 6 weeks of homelessness, it's like, what do you want from me? If it's a bird, there you go, baby. So, finally, after weeks of ignoring and not talking to a single person, basically just dropping off the face of the earth to focus on me, Nikki slowly but surely pulled me out of my shell. Here we go. So, upon coming out of my shell, getting myself back, I befriended a group of half nurses and half recovering drug addicts. little old me befriends these nurses and these recovering drug addicts, and everything was happy-go-lucky, like having so much fun. They were so nice, so sweet. You know, all these people were like reminding me that the world's not terrible anymore and that it's okay to be single, and I ended it again. So I went out for the first time and I celebrated my 21st birthday. I went to a bar with some nurse friends and my cousin. Truly could not have asked for a better weekend. I haven't gone out much since then, but that's really all I needed, you know? After that night, that was the last weekend that my two favorite nurses, their contracts at this place ended, so they were moving out. Literally the most sad thing I've ever experienced. Like, just made these two like lovely best friends and they left. But you know what? That's what traveling nurse life is, and I'm not even gonna hold them against that because they work hard, you know? So those friends leave, and then the other half of the group, several of them relapsed. When I tell you, it just defeats you. I will say if there's anyone who could just be friends with one of them, it's me. It was really difficult. My favorite nurses left, and then the other half of the group relapsed, and it was like, okay, next page. I started loving who I was again, and my physical body. I've been working on that for weeks, and feel like I got some of my confidence back. So my cousin kept hyping me up and telling me, Joe, you're an Abercrombie & Fitch model. Joe, you look like an Abercrombie & Fitch model. First of all, no, I don't, but I love you. I applied to 2 different modeling agencies. And I was like, you know what, frick it, honestly. Worst they can say is no. That's exactly what I don't want to hear. But truly, the worst I can say is no. You know what? I applied, I got an email back from one of them, interviewed with them, I then auditioned with them and awaited the results back to figure out if they wanted me or not, what we're gonna do, what the deal is, and they offered me a contract. And I signed my first modeling contract ever, and I was literally geeking. So I signed that, and I'm like, you know what? Like, what a world. I get my heart broken, work on myself, I get myself back, and then I sign a modeling contract. Like, if there's one way to get over your ex. Anyways, so I moved to Knoxville after 2 months of being here, right? So that way I can stay at my dear nurse friend's house, Tara. I can get back to work and have a change of scenery, get away from, you know, the city for a minute. I went from big city Nash to small back roads country town in East Tennessee. I had like a complete 360 flip happen, shown in another entire different perspective of life from, you know, other people's ends and, you know, what it looks like for them. I'm feeling good, you know, like I get to Knoxville and I'm like, let's do this thing. I just went through so much this year pretty much to get back my life, to get a home again, to be able to work from that home again. And then 2 weeks later, after arriving to Knoxville, my dad overdosed, sent me a message, basically saying goodbye, to talk him down from the ledge and get in contact with the police, try to have them locate him, find him, get him help. He spent 4 days in the hospital, he's out, he is doing better. And that's all we're gonna say about that. Established another self-care routine with my best friend Tara. We are both working on our skin right now because we deserve good skin. You know, people who work hard and who are kind and good to everyone deserve good skin. This is what being a good person does for you. Which isn't much, honestly. It's been great. It's been such a truly amazing experience. I've met some amazing people. I've self-acclaimed 2 brothers now. My nurse friend Tara, she has 2 sons, and like both of them are just like my literal brothers at this point, and that's dope because my brother's not really in my life. Okay, so yeah, I've been there for the past few weeks. Now, currently back in Nashville because I missed my cousin and the pups way too much. And I was getting a little bit lonely, you know what I mean? And that's okay. Sometimes you do get lonely. And sometimes it's okay to be lonely and alone. And sometimes it's not. And this was one of the times where I was like, after the few weeks I just had, like, went through a lot of things, let's go back. So I'm here, and it's great, and I love it. Wrapping this up, I hope you feel some sense of encouragement, some sense of hope, something to keep pushing you to go, because especially in this year, make it a point to be proud of what you have just experienced and gone through. Be a good person. Remember who you were before COVID. Give yourself grace for things that have happened during this pandemic and that you have undoubtedly had to go through, a lot of it probably on your own. We are all doing our best to try and find life again, figure out what that means, what that looks like, and how that's going to be. And while I don't know and I have no idea, that's okay. Learning to appreciate and accept in every moment, good or bad, because if you're still here and if you're lucky enough to not have had to struggle with COVID or go through that on your own or with a loved one, or you're blessed. Literally, what just happened? Oh my god, I just finished editing all of that. First of all, so long. Like, so long. Also, like, going through those videos, one, I was so emotional. So many different emotions at so many different points. All of that really happened. Like, I'm gonna go schedule an appointment with my therapist. God, I hope you guys enjoyed. Welcome back. It's only gonna get worse from here.